Okay, so I got some comments probably a long time ago by the time you see this. I got the settings open because I've just made a save because I'd like to show and demonstrate anyway 2 solutions that were presented to me to get rid of this dirt on the track. And I'm going to show that they don't work. First is that people said that you can just make a waypoint on the track and it will clear the dirt off of it. So you can see how it graphically changes a little bit and it shifts the soil and stuff around a little bit. And that's intended to, you can use this method to get rid of any dirt on the track like this. However, you cannot make a waypoint inside a station. Remember, this is a station. So you can't click in here. It doesn't work. There's no way to do that. The second solution was presented to me, and the reason why I ultimately have saved the game right now, because the solution was that you can demolish a building and then cancel the demolition. So as an example of how this would normally work, we would go ahead and click demolish on this pump jack. And then we would say, oh no, I don't want to demolish it. And we just cancel the demolition and it comes back and it's working perfectly well and everything is awesome with it again, right? Everything is good with this. It's working now. Make sure, yes. However, with a building this size, and in the event that there's something, I really don't know what it is, but with a building this size, if you click demolish with demolition office, it's gonna tell me that there's hazardous waste on the demolition, which I don't know why, and it says there's too much waste on the demolition for me to revert this. And so I end up basically being completely stuck with a very inconvenient situation. So if anyone knows how to remove this and it's not one of those 2 methods, please let me know. I'm willing to try things, all right? Let's see what happens here. Okay, so I wanted to show a couple of other things too. First, let's get started on this. I need this done. So let's just get this going, and workers here, etc. Please and thank you. This is the big transfer for garbage containers. This is what you need attached to. I don't know exactly why you need it attached to this, because I feel like you should just have mixed waste. You got big garbage container storage directly inside, but for whatever reason, you need this thing. So I'm gonna attach it here. I probably could have done a small one. I'm gonna do a big one anyway, I don't care. Today, we're going to see the first time that we're going to tear down tracks, because I made a boo-boo. That's what happens when you're sick and you take a few days off. You forget what you were doing. So this is not for the distribution office. This is a dedicated train. This train is supposed to wait over there until it's completely full of construction waste and then come over and deliver it here so we can process it. That's what this train's doing, which means it doesn't need distribution, which means this is pointless. And in fact, it's more than pointless. It's beyond pointless. It is worse than pointless because it actually makes additional terrible complexity with an intersection here that is completely unnecessary. So we are going to take away this rail because it is going to cause us way more problems and give us absolutely no benefits. So this is the first time we've ever tried to demolish a railroad. In this game, anything related to building tracks or tearing them down comes exclusively from track builders. No workers, no demolition office, no nothing. Track builders do everything. They do the building and they do the tearing it down, all right? So in order for them to be able to do this, you need to be able to store the waste. At the moment, we have 3.3 tons of boards here that we need to pick up. That's fine. 1.7 tons of steel. We have 0.85 tons of mixed waste, gravel, there's metal scrap, and there's construction. Now, on the internal storage of this, we can store boards, steel, and gravel. So those things are taken care of, all right? But for mixed waste, metal scrap, and construction waste, I don't know if the mixed waste is gonna go in here, but for the metal scrap and construction waste, that stuff doesn't go in here. It needs a different home. And if you don't provide it with a place to put the waste, the train won't even begin to tear it down. So, hence, I need this building built with priority, please. So once we get this built, we'll be able to hopefully tear that out of here, and that's gonna make this function again. Honestly, this was a pretty absent-minded judgment call there. Trains are not gonna like that if I try that. The other thing I wanted to show is this. So I added the little wooden part here in order to get the food train going. But 2 problems here. One, I really don't want to deal with fuel for this train. Even if it was as simple as just putting a little fuel station here and just letting this provide it with fuel and all that stuff. I don't really want to deal with it. I'm going to make this electric. Making it electric gives me a little bit of a benefit too, because I'll be able to start using this, and it still won't have access to the regular network. Because this is a wooden track, the electric train cannot use it. So we want an electric part here to be built, and then we don't connect this side, so it's still disconnected from the rest of the network. Problem though is that this building is not getting built, and even if I enable the construction, I can't actually tell them to build it. So, thing I missed, number one about this building, is that the roads to put this in are all one-way streets. Even though there's a road here, it's actually an exit. So there's one entrance and two exits on this thing. Very unfortunate indeed. Which means I need to wrap this road around. So unfortunate. I didn't want to take up all the space. I want to limit the space I'm taking up as much as possible here. So what I'm actually going to do is just kind of come really tight against the building, bring it out about like this, and then just connect to that little segment right there. That's about as tight as you can make this, and then delete this. Really tight turn there. So they're going to be able to get in there now, and I should be able to activate that construction by doing that. Once this is built, that will enable this rail to exist, which gets automatically electrified as long as the rail around it is electrified. And then they can start building this one out here, and we can start finally having an electric train line bringing all the way out there to there. And then I don't have to worry about, the fuel that the train uses and all that stuff. I mean, it's probably expensive, but eventually I want all my trains to be electric anyway. So, yeah. The second part of this is that we have to electrify the track. So we have power lines running through here, which is kind of cool. And I don't believe there's another port here. I think I used all of them, yeah. There's a little switch right here. There's a little bit of electricity I could tap into right here. So I may do that. But ultimately I'm going to need to find a source of electricity. I kind of dig the idea of having my trains all... at least the food train, kind of dig the idea of having it completely powered by the wind. I know it's completely unstable, so I'm going to need a lot of wind, but yeah, I kind of like the idea of that. I'm probably not going to do it, though. So I have this, I can tap into this, and that should have a capacity of 2.35 theoretically. So I could, bring it out. This is using only 0.39 of it, so I can put the majority of this towards the electrification process here. So I'm thinking we'll probably bring this out this way, up here, which means the electrification is going to happen right here. So we'll just remove this track out about here and remove it right about here. Hello. There we go. And then we're going to stick one of these in here. Now there's 4 different ones if you're new to the game. We have metro ones, and then we also have underground railroad connections that you could use. I believe this one is an underground railroad connection. Oh, they're all that way. Never mind. These are all just mostly for the metros and stuff. I think they go down, is it depth or what? They have different... All right, hold on. Is there like a... Oh, okay, it's the different depths. So 1, 2, 3 different depths. Okay, and then the one that goes above ground, which is for the regular trains, and that's the one we're going to use. So I'm going to put this... I don't want this to be, straight with the rest of the track. That looks pretty good. And we're going to say that you are right there. Oh, I need to be a little bit further away. Darn it. Okay. And we're going to put you like that. Hopefully you connect. There you go. And then the rail can go like that. Okay, back it up just a little bit. Sometimes you got to back the rails up in order for them to connect. Come on now. There you go. And like so. Okay. So that's gonna be our port where we can plug in, basically, a charging port for the train. Obviously, the train doesn't have to stop here and charge. The whole line is electrified, so it's just running on concurrent power constantly, and we will provide that power from that switch over and into it. So we would go a little bit like so, come out like this. I could probably do the whole extra distance trick, I suppose. Ooh, right over here, nice. And then right like so. That's pretty cool, I guess. Yeah, we're gonna have to come out here anyway, so we're gonna have to use 2 poles here regardless. And then we'll come out this way, let's say like that. And then like that. And then I can get right over there like so. That will provide power from that spot up to 2 megawatts pretty much of concurrent power here, which is enough to easily power that one train. So that can easily happen. I'm not concerned about it. For the rest of the network, we're going to have multiple connections from multiple different sources, redundancies applied for in case of fires and all that stuff. The rest of the network is fine. But remember, this is separate from the distribution network. So it needs its own separate power supply. So it's going to get popped in right there. Okay. Are we done with the transfer? Not even remotely close to being done with the transfer. Let's speed up time a little bit here. I'd very much like to see what it's like to demolish this. It's probably not that impressive. It's probably quite like, okay, yeah, that's what happens. Building tracks is probably just as interesting, I would think. We are at 8.6 thousand people, and I am noticing 2% unemployment. It says due to workplace. Most likely when you see that, it's because you have buildings that have been specifically told to go to a certain place, and there's just no more capacity in those places. There's danger in letting them be undecided, but I'm going to try it. So first I'm going to go to the overlays. We're going to go to citizens living preferences. And we're going to say worker was unemployed yesterday. So we have a couple of different places where people have been unemployed yesterday. I got 11 workers here, and see, they've been told specifically to go to these locations. So we're just going to allow them to go undecided, and they should be able to find gaps in jobs wherever they are. Pretty much anywhere where it's undecided, unspecified, etc. Yeah, the cableway, I think I can probably go ahead and get rid of that one. There's only 2. We can go ahead and get rid of this. I'm just going to let them work wherever they want, and we'll see how this works. The Wild West. There's 22 here. That makes sense because I'm making sure my water stays stable. How about we just, you know, let them go wherever they want? That's a risk. But hey, if people start to say they don't have water and they die, I can look back at this moment and say, see? Control is good. Okay, so with this done, we should now be able to see all these different types of waste that are in this transfer. Now, clearly it doesn't work over there, probably because I need to connect it to a factory connection. So you should have multiple factory connections. Thank you very much. However, I think what we can do over here, right, is we can choose different types of waste. So let's say the top row is all mixed waste, but maybe this one here is metal scrap, and I can change each of these individually to metal scrap if I want to, like this, okay? We can also, I think, change them all if I want to. With a click down here, we can reallocate all of them that way. So I'm just gonna have individually here, metal scrap there, and then we'll put construction waste in this row as well. And we may actually need more construction waste, because construction waste tends to be, volume-wise, it tends to be much bigger than most of the other types of waste. It looks like we only have 2.5 tons here, which isn't a big deal, but I think it might be faster for me to just make everything construction waste and then change it for metal scrap. So I'm gonna change this one to be metal, 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 and let's say metal. The rest of this could be construction waste, and then that's the mixed waste bin, which I think I'm actually going to give a couple more mixed waste bins. Okay, that is what we're going to do for this. Now, with this done, I should see track builders come on over and do this now that I've assigned it as a high priority. So let's come over here, assign them the deconstruction, make sure they're going to do it, and if we have any trains that are here, looks like this one is coming out. Are you going to the demo? Yes, you are. So, unfortunately, it's a slow one that's decided to stop here and try to demo this thing, which isn't what I wanted to see, but all right, fine, I guess. Wow, isn't this riveting? I mean, it doesn't actually look like it's doing something, but it doesn't have the appearance of doing anything. It just sort of breaks up the track like this, and then once the track is all broken apart, it just sort of collects all the stuff, and then it disappears. And then all the stuff that's here gets taken over here, and it gets dumped in here. So here's our construction waste. There's probably a little bit of metal in here somewhere. Yep, that one has some metal. We have some mixed waste in here probably somewhere. Maybe that's in the internal containers, yeah. And so You see, there's even some construction waste in here too. I don't know why you can't just use the internal container, but if you try to, at least in this version of the game, if you try it with just this building, it's supposed to work, but I haven't been able to get it to work, okay? Yes, I've tried this before recording just to see how it would work because I wanted to learn the system and know the system beforehand. It isn't working for me here. What I've been told is that if you have the small track builder, because there are 2 of them, if you didn't know, there's a small rail construction office that has 4 vehicles. This is the size that we are used to, although the building is much smaller than it. I remember it being like that. And then the 8 one is the one I have. Now, it's been said to me anyway that if you have the 4, then you need to connect one of these with a factory connection. But if you have the big one, then you don't need to. I have experienced no difference between those 2 buildings, at least right now in this version. Maybe there's an update later, but I haven't experienced any difference. Point of this, though, is that now this is much better for us. So much better for us. It's going to be great, all right? Because what we're going to do, right, is we're going to have a chain signal here and a chain signal here. And so that means this train, if it can't get through this intersection, it's going to stop right here. And then it will continue on and go. However, these guys can get all the way over here. Sorry, my bad. I think this is... yeah, no, that's correct. Yeah, if you can't pass by it. So chain signal will reference the signal ahead of it. And so if it can't get through this intersection, it will stop here. That is out of the way of this. These track builders will stop here. And that's going to be in the way of the track builder. But I do have, I thought anyway, I was going to implement one little change to let track builders get out anyway. I don't really care, to be honest, because these guys can just stop here and wait. You know, building a track is never going to be something I urgently need. So I'm okay with them having to wait their turn. When we get into signaling and stuff, which I'm going to go into in depth, but not quite ready yet, because we're not really using the tracks yet. You can see I like to build out a lot of track before I start enabling signaling. And that's because once you start signaling, track builders, especially at intersections, track builders, they just cause all sorts of issues. But I don't have those issues anymore, at least not in this area, because all of these tracks internally near the city are done. So I think we're pretty close to signaling time. And with signaling time comes the distribution office, because remember, this office will not work at all. It will do absolutely nothing unless your tracks are signaling, okay? So let's maybe get prepared for that. In the beginning, we're going to be using diesel trains for this, and we're going to give them fuel directly from the distribution office so they don't need to stop here. So in the beginning, first I just want to see whether we have anything on sale or not. We do care about the length of the train. That is an important characteristic of the train here, because maximum width will be generated. The train distribution office will automatically generate a train that fits the demands that it has in its schedule, right? It's just like a normal distribution office, except instead of sending the right truck, it configures the proper train. And so that means you need a variety of different cars to haul, and it will go up to 155 meters. But you will rarely hit that because different trailers are different lengths. So I'm gonna look, oh gosh, that was such a misclick. Well, I guess we have ourselves a T138 now. Yep, we bought that. All right, so anyway, we are going to, T813 is available now. I love these things. These things are awesome, but they get really expensive really fast too. I kind of want to buy them. Are there any used ones? They are flat, open cars, open hulls. There are none. Gosh, should I buy a brand new one or a used one? I don't bought a brand new car. I have no use for it. I mean, it's a covered hull, right? I think I'll put it to work. That's fine. I want to see about, let's buy a few of these. We can put them in an office later. We'll definitely use them at some point. So I'm going to take and say we buy, because they are going to get more expensive over time. Let's say we make them this purple color. That seems pretty cool. 1, 2, 3. We'll get 4 of them for now. We give them special purpose, like moving vehicles later, huh? Moving containers and things. They can haul 27 tons of stuff, so they're probably going to be bought over here. Yeah, this is the closest border crossing. So most of my vehicles that I purchased brand new come from this border. 45%, huh? Let's go ahead and have you just report over here to get repaired, please. Please and thank you. Okay, so with signaling and everything with the trains, what we want to do is we want to purchase, probably brand new vehicles are okay. I like the DR Class V. It's a short train. It's only 14 meters long. It doesn't have to be very powerful. It gets the job done. And overall, I like it. It's 100 kilometers an hour. It's not the fastest train in the world, but these other ones are a little bit longer and they're also slower. So I like these. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. Let's go 3 of them for now. We can always buy more later. 3 of the DR Class Vs. Now, so because I bought them directly from this office, they should be on their way here on the track. So we probably will see them heading down the track individually. Yep, there we go. Now, what I want to do is I want to deviate really quickly with this train. The first one that's coming through, I'm going to have you report to the depot instead because you have a new task. What you're going to do is you're going to bring vehicles, and I probably could turn you around, but I'd rather you not interrupt or run into the other trains. There's no signaling yet, right? So now we're gonna get more complicated. There's no signals. So I want to buy some cargo cars or cargo wagons, sorry. And the cargo wagons, they have a variety of different selections, a variety of different things they can haul, and they also have different lengths. So this one's 20 meters, this one's 15. Now, there's a difference in how much it's hauling, but that extra 5 meters could be the difference between having 6 trailers on the train or 7, because if it would exceed that maximum length, it won't generate that trailer. And it's possible that it even generates a train that has a mixture of different things. It might be hauling food and meat and steel in its route for some reason. Maybe it sets up multiple stops. In that case, we might want to side on for shorter cars. Now, I happen to like the open cars here instead of the wagons. There's no reason for the distribution office, at least to my knowledge anyway, for what I'm going to use it for. I don't think there's any reason to need to load vehicles on the flatbed for this train. So these ones can't load vehicles, but you get the advantage of the price is about the same, but you get the advantage of it being shorter and it can haul more. Right, so this one's 69 tons at 14 meters long. I like that. Also 69 tons at 14 meters long. They're basically the same thing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, let's say. 6 open cars right here, okay? Now what I'm gonna do with this is I'm gonna come over to this train. Oh, hi, passenger train, I forgot we had that. We're gonna come over to this train and I wanna tell it to come over to the border, hi. And you're just gonna load trains, and we can select exactly what we want. If there's multiple different things in here, we can select what we want. At the moment, I don't believe there's any additionals. Okay, there is a tunnel boring machine, but that is a used vehicle. So I'm gonna have it focus only on the new stuff, and that should pretty much take care of it. I could, again, manually select cargo wagons. It looks like they're actually grouped together as just being cargo wagons. Okay, never mind, we'll do that. I thought they would maybe be specialized, like, only refrigeration trucks or only open hauls or whatever, but cargo wagons is what I want. So you're gonna take the cargo wagons, and then you're going to bring those cargo wagons to the distribution office and deliver them. That's your route, go. And so that train is now gonna leave the station, and it's gonna come on over, and this is the same thing you do if you wanna get a train with wagons into your depot, and to get a wagon, if you bring it to the depot, then you just have to manually assign the cars to that train. But this is the same steps you do for anything that you wanna do in realistic mode. You need to buy it at the border and then go pick it up. And it will pick up as many cars as it can in that one trip until it reaches the maximum length of the station. That's the yellow box right here. So it will pick up a whole bunch of cars, at least if it's able to. And because I have 3 connections here, it should be able to come in here and pick these up, even with this train in the station, because it will simply choose a different track. If it was smart, which it of course is not, because there's no signaling. So without any signaling, trains get stupid. Oh, goody. All right. I'm going to tell you to head back the other way. Yep. And if you could kindly... Yeah, you know what? I think I want you to just go to the other stop, please. Get out of the way. You got to be kidding me, train. All right, you're on that track now. That's great. Now turn around and go do your job. When you turn around, flip yourself over. This other train should not be... Oh, for Christ's sake. This is why we need signaling now. Okay, we need signaling in order for this to work smoothly. Okay, otherwise you're going to get train collisions. Absolutely. Let me figure this out, and I'm just going to let it go, honestly, because it's going to end up going on this track, and it's going to go to the distribution office and do nothing. But eventually, it will get over here, and it will do its job, okay? Additional cargo wagons that we probably want to be delivered to the distribution office. We obviously want boxcars, although I am considering taking the boxcars from the other train and putting in there, because the other train is kind of doing what the distribution office is going to do anyway with what it's doing. We have new waste cars, which I'm not going to use with this particular station, but later on I can have a distribution office doing that. That's great. There's also this ES Open, which is a really short train, but a really short wagon, but it only does 29 tons. That's interesting. I think for distribution, we probably want to have a refrigeration train, at least one refrigeration car, possibly two. So they're both exactly the same in terms of length, but one can hold more meat and it's cheaper because it's newer, I guess. So we're gonna have two of the refrigerations. I don't think there's a reason to do anything for the hoppers for this one. Open cars, hopper would be interesting to do later, actually, right? Because we're gonna deliver coal to the heating plant in Cernakova. I don't yet have a way to pick up coal, so I need to invent that too. It won't be difficult, but I need to invent that way as well. And then there's also for livestock and stuff too, which I don't need. So I'm thinking probably we just grab like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 box cars. And then I kind of want to get more of these open cars here, these 12 by 15. So we're going to buy a couple more of those too. Okay, so that's it. That's all we need. And you can see right here, this is the train that's delivering it. So it's now picked up as many as it can. And it's most likely going to collide with a train again. So now we need to start getting signaling going, yeah? And once it's done delivering all of these things, there's 155,000 worth of stuff here. Once it's done delivering all of these, going the wrong direction on the track, which it might run into a problem up ahead. It definitely will run into a problem. But it's going to use the bypass track. Clever. Super clever. Well done, sir. Good, because it's like your own life on the line, so you might want to protect yourself, just saying. There you go. So deliver this here, and then you're going to see the cars will appear in the yard here. So, and they'll fill up. If you're ever curious on how many cars can I put in here, because they don't appear in this list, they appear in a separate list here. How many cars can you put in here? It's all about the physical space that you see. That's why the length of the car does matter in this equation. You can fit more cars in here if you choose shorter ones. That's not to say you should always choose the shorter one, because it's possible there are some benefits from choosing larger ones. But in my situation, I want as many cars as possible so that I can have as many trains configured and on the track doing things as possible. So I'm choosing short cars as a result of that. So as this thing brings more and more things over, it will be here, and then we will configure this distribution train to start doing things, like picking up stuff from here and taking it over there, picking up the bricks, bringing it over here, bringing it over there, where the construction office is over there. We need to get a way to pick up gravel and a way to pick up coal, and I'm kind of stuck on that one. I said it wouldn't be that hard, but now I'm looking at this space and I'm seeing lots of power poles right where I was going to set this up. So I wanted to put it right here because I thought this train would be an interesting place to dump it, but I'm seeing all these little tiny power poles. So I may need to rework where it's a loader, right? So it's going to be a 2-track loader. It's an aggregate loader. And I want it to be a small aggregate loader, so something like this. And then I was hoping that I would be able to rob that supply. Is what I was hoping for. I was like, hey, can you give me that? And it doesn't look like that's going to be as easy as I originally thought it would be. So might take a little bit of tweaking here. It can technically do that, but then I can't get the rail through here anyway. So might need to rework this a little bit, reimagine where these roads are. There's also this So I could potentially get that to play nice with me. Maybe over here, if I got rid of these roads, I might be able to get that out to come right into this station, which would be interesting. However, the distribution office does things a little bit differently, all right? It doesn't like to pick up, I don't know if it's, I don't remember actually, maybe leave it in the comments if you remember. I don't remember if it doesn't like to load things into an elevator or into a pump, or it doesn't like to unload things. I think it's the unload that it doesn't like to do. We might be okay with the load, but usually you like distribution office would like to stop at stations that are directly connected to the source that it's trying to pull, because it gives it an accurate idea of how much is available for it. If you click the elevator, there's no information here about how much coal is actually available from this. So there's no information transfer for that. But if you click this, now I get to see how much coal is there. So if I was to hook up the station directly to this coal, that would tell the station exactly where it is. It would also allow me to pull this supply from here and send it to heat. Now, also, that is a problem somewhat because we are now robbing power. So there's a little bit of that, but it might be okay because at least we're not robbing the heat. I'm trying to keep it separate from robbing the heat. Maybe what I have to do is set it up over here, and that's probably easier is what I was, there's options, right? I can probably set it up over here if I just cross this like that. There we go. And then that would allow me to get a separate storage here where it can then pull it from. But that separate storage would also be pulling from these two sources anyway. So it really doesn't get around the whole idea of like pulling from your main supply. That's still a thing, and I really can't do anything about it. So I don't know, like it's not the best situation. But it's something that could work. And I do need it to work because I need coal to be over here. And I really don't want to rely on trucks to make that happen. Okay, so there you go. We're getting started anyway with the train. We're configuring anyway the train distribution office to begin working. And you can see there are 2 engines here assigned here ready to go already. And they are just waiting to start working. There's cars and stuff here. They would start working right now if I do signaling on all these tracks, which I'm not quite ready to do. I want to get maybe all of this done and up to here, and then I think I'll do the signaling from there. I want to get this intersection completely signaled before we start messing with it, because having track builders in here while this is constantly moving through is a no-go, I think. So I'm going to turn this stuff on. I'm going to get the track builder to go ahead and try to build as much of this as it can. Okay, I've been putting some time into just sort of trying to figure out what we're going to do to ship coal out of here. Because remember, I don't really want to process coal anywhere else, at least not right away. I would rather process all of our coal needs right here, just bring in more coal in from the mountain. We have lots of capacity. We haven't even built our second processing plant yet. And I'd like to, get it hooked up for the trains so that they can ship it around to Republic. And so I've been trying to figure out, like, where do I do this to where I'm not going to do it and pull resources from power, right? I don't want to pull the coal off of power. Since this is my first point of entry and it's coming pretty much direct from this, there's really not a way to tap into this supply. And if I tap into the supply anywhere else, it's still going to pull it from this chain. So there is no way to do that. However, that doesn't mean there's no way to get coal around the Republic, because I think I have the solution to this. It's been staring me in the face for a while, and I think it's relatively easy. Rather than pulling off of this supply, we're just going to make a whole new supply. And we're going to do so over here. We're going to get this to pull coal, or we're going to process coal, and we're going to get a dedicated supply that's available for it right over here where trains can pull it and send it around the Republic. And we're going to need it to supply Sternakova with coal for heat. And we're also going to need it to provide over near Rovendima for heat. And maybe it's going to have to provide heat over in the new town that's going to be near like Charlevoix North, and as it expands that way. Maybe, because Charlevoix North is probably not going to be heated by this place either. However, there's also coal over there, so we could also ship it from there too. Either way, let's focus on this for just a little second. So this is the workflow. We've got 2 processing plants that are kind of here. There's room for a third. I've left that room open, and there's a possibility we'll do a third, but we're not quite doing a third yet. I'm going to leave the ability to tap into this third source, though. So how I'm going to do that is we're going to come over here and, okay, real quick, this thing's nagging me. And it's probably got to do with, okay, I really need signaling, man. This needs signaling bad. I don't think you have any more vehicles to get from the border, though. Have you taken them all? You have taken them all already, so you don't need to do this anymore. I would like you, little train, where'd that go? Come here. Little train. I would like you to report to distribution, please. And just take you off of whatever route you're on. It's not necessary. Go to your home now. That's where you go. Okay. So what I want to do here is we're going to grab another aggregate. The trick with this, we actually have 2 available here, right? So there's one on this side, and then there's another one right next to it. So there's 2 outs. The trick with this, though, is getting this in a position where the road can get out. Because you got to have a road access, otherwise they won't build it. So I think if we angle it about like this, we can get a green spot here where you'll accept it. I think that will cover it. So we'll try this right here. All right. It looks like it's not going to accept. Nope, it's just the dust. Okay, so both of these sides are accepted. And again, we should be able to get this road curved and out. Very good. Okay. Now here's the trick. These are very low, so we can go over top of them. But I want to do 2 things. I need to be able to go over top and send coal in this direction. And I also need to be able to open up the possibility of receiving coal from this direction, because there's a potential for us to add a 3rd processing plant, which that mine can totally handle. Especially once we get people in Cernakova, that'll be very easy to do. So, get another aggregate here and another conveyor engine. We're going to do another merger. And it looks like that's going to connect quite easily. We want to go high so that we can hopefully get that road out of there. And that's going to be the next trick, is getting the road out. But if I can go about like... so close. Maybe I have to angle it. Yeah, I think I have to angle it this way to get the road out. They may also not let me get the road out because the road's on the wrong side there. This is the tough part, right? But we're gonna figure it out, all right? Because I think there's a way to do this. We could try doing it this way. Nope, that's the wrong direction on the out. The out must be facing that direction. So I think it's gonna have to be this because I need that road unobstructed. So we're gonna try it. How about right over like this? Can the road get out of there? It can. Road gets out and it goes that way. Beautiful. Then that goes that way. Okay, that takes care of that big problem. I was like really concerned about that spacing, but it's going to work out. So this road could just go up and meet here so they can get started building on that if we want them to, and I totally do. So let's just get them started on this. Now I don't need cancel construction mode for that and that. I don't need these 2 things. I don't need that. Not yet. We're not ready to build this. We're not ready to use this. We don't need it yet. So just leave it alone. Question of the day. Can I get it in from the other side? Answer. Yes, you can. Right there. Okay, so that will work quite well, actually. It'll work from all the way over here. Yep. Okay. Verified. Next. Let's look at where the storage is going to be stored, right? And to know where that's going to be, I think we probably should talk about where the train's going to come in. We're going to use the smallest station possible because I don't think there's a reason to use any bigger one. And we're going to use the train aggregate loading. I don't think there's a reason to use anything bigger than this, unless it has to do with like its loading capacity. But I mean, there's so much more steel involved in all the other stations aside from this. Like, is there a practical reason why I should use this big station here versus this little station here, right? I don't know if there's actually a reason for that. This puts the road on the proper side and the loaders to where if I use the big one, I have to have the road and the loaders on opposite sides, which is, again, isn't that big of a deal, but I'm just trying to figure out if there's really a reason to use the big one here. I don't believe there is. The one thing we have to consider, though, is how long the track is. And we just have to follow the simple basic principles or rules of the rail, right? So as long as we follow the rules, we should be all right. So I'm going to put the aggregate loading right up against this road here. I think I'm going to put it right about here. Right there should do it. real quick, get a dirt path from there. Okay. So we got all this space for storage for coal. I think we do a 2,000 ton one to really have a lot of capacity. That gives me overage equivalent to these two, but able to be distributed around the Republic, which is going to be really convenient, especially if we have to, like, you know, this place is running low. We just dump a whole bunch on it, which will last it a week, and then we come back, right? And we go off to the next place, and that will last a week, and then we come back to the next place, and that just keeps going. And we have, of course, hopefully processing that can keep up with it. So I'm going to say that for aggregate storages, we take the 2,000 one right here, and we should be able to get an in from this side, it looks like. Nope, this side. Yep, there we go. Should be able to get that to connect over here. The angle is a little bit bad, though, isn't it? That angle just does not want to cooperate. Oh, that's unfortunate. That's a real shame, because that would have been really good. Can I think I need to step this back. Before they get to building this, they've already delivered some concrete here. Like, I'm not opposed to... Oh, man, I really can't get that out, can I? Okay, so I'm going to try a different tactic here, because this is getting really hard with the road connections and everything. I'm just going to have this thing be on the other side of this, so I don't have to worry about this specific road. At least I don't have to worry about getting out of the area here. And so if I place it about like this, I think I can get that connection, and then hopefully I can get the road out too. So right about... Remember, it's got to connect from the other side too, so I need to give it enough room. I think this will be acceptable. At least I hope it is. If I can get you to come over and meet up with that. There it is. Yep, that will work. And then you are going to be connected there. Very good. And then we need the storage, which I had to take out of here because it was just... wasn't working out, man. So at this point, maybe this will fit in like a glove. I'm hoping. We'll see. So this is a loader, of course. So if I can just position it maybe a little bit back, I can get that input there. And then the input on the other side right there. So I think technically that does work, but the entrance is too close for me. The entrance is too close to where the train is going to be going. So rather than doing that, how about we get the two roads for the storage and that elevator to come together? I like that much better. We'll do this, and then we'll just get rid of this. And I believe that takes care of all my problems, I think. So if I was to head this way now for them to build this, I guess we'll just go around like so. Nope. Oh, we have a new problem. Yeah, because now we have to navigate both of these. There may not be a way to win. There may not be any winning here. Ah, I got out though. I think we just made it. Figuring out where that road goes is... Yep, that's gonna do it. We win. Okay. So this plan is gonna work. I'll go ahead and let this keep running, and we're just gonna say that this comes around like so. And then we'll have it come in like that, and then you connect, and then you can... Are you kidding me? There's always something. There is always something, you guys. But this is the hard part. The storage is easier. All right, so we'll have an in on that side. Yep, this is acceptable. Yeah, that solves all my issues. Done. Okay. Final step in this whole way too long and didn't need to take that long process. Just double checking. I can get there. Yep. Is the rail. So where's the rail coming from? And I think the rail is coming from here. So we already have this path that's coming around, and it's going to be two rails eventually. And they end up coming in right here, all right? So this is the part where it kind of becomes one rail. We're going to change this to, instead of becoming one rail, we're going to allow this to continue on. And let's just get it to hug for a little bit here, and then we'll bend it out like that. We're going to get this to carry on in this direction. Like so, okay? And then we're going to make an X with this. So we're going to say that this crosses... Well, I thought we were going to make an X anyway. Yeah, right there. So this is going to be a crossing instead of just a merger, and then that's going to allow trains to kind of do what they need to do. Once the train hits this spot, It only has this as its destination, and that's it. Now, the other issue is, what if there's multiple trains? Because that could totally happen in this case, because this is responsible for taking coal to multiple locations. So we may get 2 trains here, even though there's only 1 track. So to counteract that, what we're going to do is I'm going to have a bypass on this as well. So we're going to see about here. And as long as we follow the rules of trains, everything should be fine. So in this case, we know it's going to be distribution office doing this. It may turn out not to be. So why don't I give myself like 250 meters if I can pull that off. I don't even know if I can pull that off, but so from here to here, that gives me 220. I like that. I'm concerned that we don't have enough to do 220. So let's say another one is here, and then it goes to about here. That's a 238. So we'd have to have this kind of on the curve, which isn't ideal, but it would give us adequate spacing for what we want to do. So what I want to do is I'm going to say right about here, you're going to split off. Right about here, you're going to split off into a whole new rail. And this whole new rail is going to come down, and we want to give it 220 meters, right? So maybe we should do it on the other side. Yeah, that's where the other track is. We could do this on the other side too. We could give this multiple ins and outs, actually. That might be okay. Doesn't look all that clean yet, does it? Let's get rid of this and this. Just focus on this part for now. So we'll bring you all the way around as 2 tracks to here. And then we'll have you come out this way and then in. That's unnecessary, isn't it? Let's just bring you back like so. And then stick you in right there. Wow, you're just insistent on making that little curve, aren't you? Okay, so if we did this and then stepped it back 220 meters, I think that's sufficient. So let's just get rid of these little ones here. Come back to, let's say, 220 meters. 220 meters is here. All right, so essentially, we want a crossing to be right on the road. That's so unfortunate. Right on the road, man. I guess the more ideal situation would be to have this crossing happen earlier. But we already have the merger. But, I mean, we could still technically put the crossing here and a merger there. It's not the worst plan. All right. So our crossing's going to happen right on the road. That's where the measurements are, so that's where we're doing it. So real quick, double checking those measurements. I'm just trying to give myself a little extra room from distribution office. So that's 224-ish meters. Signal will probably be here. So let's say 216, okay? From that side. And then also it should be the same from this side too. We just go from here to here. It's about the same from this side too. It's an inside curve, so it might be a little bit less as it curves over, but that's fine. So we end up with like about 215, let's say. And then on this side, we get how much space on this side? Do I have space to maybe move it back a little bit? See, this is 225, 230. So I could move this back just a little bit to have the curve happen just a little bit further back. But the idea is, of course, if a train stops here to wait, then, well, first off, if a train is stopping here to wait, then that means that both of these, because these are going to be two directions, right? These are not like one ways. These are like 2 trains can load at a time kind of thing. So if a train stops here, as long as it's 230 meters or less, it should be 215 meters, I guess is what we're going to keep it at. Then it won't disrupt trains from here leaving the station and getting out of here. And also the trains that leave the station and get out of here, they are going to stop here if there's anybody coming this way. So when they stop here, they need to be, again, 215 is what we were looking at. So 215 is our sweet spot, looks like. Don't go over 215 meters, and we're good to go. Let's say maybe 212. And then we're good to go. The signaling will work there. So that's going to be our coal setup, all right? Instead of having, and then we can go ahead and mark all of this to be constructed as well. So we'll say, not cancel. Assign construction mode, yep. For this. There we go. So all of this. And then we'll get the train distribution, or the train construction office, we'll get that on these things too. But I think that is going to allow me to, yeah, ship coal over to Cernakova really easily, because as we process it here, you'll notice that this is full, and we're just kind of like not productive in this ore processing plant right now. We have nothing else we can do with it. This is filling up because we can't process it fast enough, right? And it would be completely full if we had, you know, more people in the coal mine. Right now we're at 79 out of 100, but I can open this up to 220. So we have more capacity than we're using right now for coal. And if I can get another source here, which I can send out, that would be really swell. Might even be able to get a bigger storage even in here. Like 2,500 is nice, but I mean, what's the biggest one? It's that 5,000 one, isn't it? A giant 5,000 one that I put over here earlier. I mean, it's basically the same size. I could just say we do this instead, right? I mean, it's one of those might as well things, I think. It keeps us running. I'll go on then. All that work, it's not resetting anything. It's just, we're just doing this instead. Yeah, so this gives us there, and then I put it back. Let's just get rid of the road really quick. Yeah, that road can go away. Hello, road. Yep, like that. And then let's put the big boy in here, all right? Let's get 5,000 units of coal. Put the road on this side so it's just really far away from everything and it doesn't interfere at all. Right? Something like this would be fine. All right. I know it's a lot of resources, but hey, we're going to be shipping a lot of coal, so might as well. And if we ever get low, you know, if we're ever low on coal, I mean, we have an emergency supply right here. We could maybe shut down. Or is it possible to shut off these elevators, right? Yeah, we just turn them off, right? So if it's just like, oh my gosh, we're really low on coal for power, emergency, just click the elevator, turn it off, and then all of our coal resources go that way. Easy. So I like it. I think we're just gonna have a huge stash, and that any train that comes in here is gonna be able to take coal wherever it needs to go, even to like reinforced steel potentially too. So that took a lot more time than I thought it would. Definitely going to cut that up, but it's a very simple solution, I think. The rail just continues on right like it was going to, totally separate track, more than enough space to get in, get out where it needs to go, enter back into the network. Totally good stuff there. And yeah, all the stuff that we're already processing, the labor we're already using, enables it. So good stuff. All right. So I think that is probably what's gonna be the end of the video today. If you're somebody who's looking at, you know, like how does signaling work and all that stuff, I'm noticing a happiness decline here. Might want to take a look at crime at some point. Doesn't seem like it's a major issue though. So I might have to take a look at why people are unhappy for a while. I mean, the death of a child thing, I guess, but it's only affecting 2 people. Yeah, I mean, it says happiness is going up 60% loyalty too, which is fantastic. So in the next one, if you're somebody who's like been waiting for trains and you've been waiting for like going through signaling and how the whole network is going to get set up and everything, that's going to be the next video, okay? Because the next video, we're going to turn on the train distribution network, and the train distribution network requires that we have signaling, okay? So if that's you, if you're interested in that, come on back for the next one, okay? Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate you. I hope you'll have a wonderful day, and I really wish there was some camera tools that let me do this smoother, okay? This rotation of the mouse, I'm almost out of room here. Mouse pad's leaving. See you next time. Bye-bye.